recording is being recorded.
ज्वाइन करो ना। अच्छा,
Yutika, you can start, I think.
Pranam. Yes, Pranam.
Can you hear me, Jyotika?
Yes, yes.
But I can't hear you. There's a
But
problem.
maybe you are
I think I
there is
should.
some issue with your audio. You might have
Something
muted.
happened.
We will all videos off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Got it. So shall we start?
Yes.
Yes.
So I take this opportunity to welcome you all today to this program on. This is organized by Ujjawal Women's Association along with the AIWC's Delhi branch. And as you all know, this is a very important and very relevant and current topic. It's terrorism and its impact on women and children. इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ आज सभी का स्वागत. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. And we start the program for today. Our two speakers are Mrs. Kuljit Kaur and Mrs. Jyotika Kalra. And before we start the program, I would like to tell you a few things about this. As I said, all of you know that currently this is a very, very serious issue, and Ujjawal Women's Association feels very strongly about this. The Pahalgaon terrorist attack, which took place and killed so many innocent lives, and so many were injured. You know, that is one thing which which has touched all the hearts. And Ujjawal feels so strongly about it that we thought of having this program thanks to Jyotika and Kuljit ji, and they took the initiative. And we usually take up such current issues which touch the chords of the citizens, the common citizens, because the main concern is their safety, security, surety of life. You know, if some tourist goes to enjoy, you know, a place, and you can you ever imagine this happen? You know, and in our country we consider it so safe. So with these few words, I would like to invite our chairperson of Ujjawal Women's Association of All India Women's Conference, Mrs. Beena Jain, to say a few words about this event and start the program.
thank you, Jyotika ji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I hear you? Can I hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Actually, Ujjawal Women Association ke all the members very much concerned that we should discuss this point because there is a lot of impact on the children and women. And जितना जितना हम देर करते जाते हैं उतना उतना प्रॉब्लम होती है, और इतना इस टेररिज्म का असर बच्चों के और महिलाओं के ऊपर इतना होता है कि आई फील उनकी डेवलपमेंट बंद हो जाती है, उनके सोचने का तरीका बंद हो जाता है, एंड दे कांट एंजॉय होल देयर लाइफ बिकॉज जो खौफ, जो दहशत उनके दिमाग में होती है वो कभी नहीं निकल पाती, और एक नॉर्मल वुमेन एंड चाइल्ड अपनी लाइफ नहीं जी पाते. This is, I think, like this. And why this terrorism? Why they killed innocent people like this? So this is ये मैं एक और भी कहना, हमने हमारा टॉपिक है women and children, but I want to say इस पे उनके पेरेंट्स पे भी बहुत बड़ा असर पड़ता है, क्योंकि वो अपनी एज में अपने सामने ब्रूटली अपने बच्चों को मरता हुआ देखते हैं, तो उनकी भी लाइफ, उनकी ओल्ड एज, उनकी सारी जिंदगी उनकी भी खत्म हो जाती है. तो ये एक बहुत ही हमारी सोसाइटी, समाज के लिए, हमारे देश के लिए ये कि बहुत ही बड़ा कलंक है, और मैं समझती हूँ इसको हम तो सभी लोग हम कंडम तो कर ही रहे हैं, मगर हमें आगे के, जैसे हम सोशल वर्कर हैं, तो हमें बच्चों के माइंड को इस तरह तैयार करना चाहिए कि ताकि वो इन बुराइयों की तरफ नहीं. और मेरा ये स्ट्रांगली कहना है कि सोसाइटी को हम लोगों को बदलना चाहिए, और ये इनह्यूमन बिहेवियर, इनह्यूमन जो करते हैं, ये दिस इज वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग, वेरी बैड एंड फॉर द सोसाइटी। तो इससे हमारी कंट्री के डेवलपमेंट पर भी बहुत बड़ा असर पड़ता है। तो इन्हीं शब्दों के
Jyotika,
साथ,
please
क्योंकि मैं
request
ज्यादा
people
नहीं
to
बोलना
mute
चाहती।
themselves. So much of disturbance
Please
is there.
mute. Everybody should mute your.
Themselves. Please mute yourselves. Yeah. Do we have a handle to mute everyone? Yeah.
इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ, क्योंकि मैं ज्यादा नहीं बोलूंगी, और हमारे दो बहुत अच्छे स्पीकर हमारे सामने हैं, तो मैं कुलजीत जी को इनवाइट करूंगी, क्योंकि सबसे पहले हम मीटिंग ये करने से पहले थोड़ा सा होमेज भी देंगे, और जो डिपार्टेड सोल्स हैं, और कुलजीत जी प्लीज यू टेक ओवर।
Kuljit ji, over to you.
हाँ बस, हाँ मैं कर रही हूँ।
Okay.
गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन, नमस्कार। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हमें ज्वाइन करने के लिए। जब से हमने ये पहलगाम का सुना था, दिस हॉरिफिक इंसिडेंट, all of us, we were full of so much of agony that we wanted to share with others. So that's why we thought to have this webinar where all the members, they can give vent to their feelings, and jointly we can pay homage to the departed souls. I would like to say that on the serene paths of Pahalgam, where rivers, valley, and mountains stand in silent grace and peace, the peace was shattered by an act of senseless violence on April 22nd, 2025. Lives were lost in brutal attack that has left families broken, communities grieving, and the nation mourning. We have the names and the photographs of those who were taken too soon. I'll show you the photographs also. We here stand in solidarity, all the members of ARWC, with the victims and their families. These are the photographs. Yatish, they're from all over the country. They're from Gujarat, they're from Maharashtra, they're from Andhra Pradesh, they're from Karnataka.
वीडियो भी ऐड हाँ
Hello?
वीडियो भी ऐड करना है
All over the
Please
country.
don't disturb.
Members were there, those who were victims, they were from all over the country. As we can see, Arunachal Pradesh also, Gujarat also, and Andhra, Madhya Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Maharashtra. Just have a look at this man, Sayyid Adil Hussain Shah. Can you see these photographs? Bina ji, photographs?
We can see.
No.
Yes, we can see.
No.
No, slide should move. Second slide.
हाँ, अभी तो first ही है.
Abhi
हाँ,
first
तो
slide.
I'll come to the second.
दिख-
I'm just
हम
showing
दिख
the
रही हैं.
Sayyid Adil Hussain, the pony rider who tried to help the tourist by snatching the gun from the hands of the terrorist. And in return, they shot him and they sacrificed his life. That's why I wanted to show this young boy who was just 27 years old, and he sacrificed himself for the sake of those tourists. The second is this Vinay Narwal, the most tragic, married on April 16th, cremated on April 23rd. He was the newlywed along with his wife. He had come to Kashmir for honeymoon, and he was shot by those hardcore terrorists, those who don't have any sympathy, any love, any humanity, and they killed this young, promising man on the spot. Imagine the plight of that young girl who had come for the honeymoon, and she went back empty-handed. Next is Atul Shrikant. He's from Maharashtra. Neeraj Odwani. He got married on February 12th. He had finished with his honeymoon, and again he went back and he brought his family to show them how beautiful Pahalgam is. And he didn't know that it was going to be his last visit, and he sacrificed his life. Neeraj Odwani. Then is Mr. Ramchandran. He is from Kerala. Sanjay Lakshman is from Maharashtra. Dinesh Agarwal, he's from Chhattisgarh. Dilip Bose is from Maharashtra. Chandramouli is from Andhra Pradesh. And this young man who had come along with his two children, Madhusudan Roy, he was from Karnataka. Santosh from Maharashtra, Bharat Bhushan from Karnataka, Sumit Parmar, again a young fellow from Gujarat, Manish Ranjan from West Bengal, Samir Guha from West Bengal, and Bitan Adhikari, again from West Bengal. Shikha had told me that about these people, those who became the victims of that attack. And I heard that Chief Minister of West Bengal, she has announced some compensation, but no amount of financial compensation can bring the lost people, those who have gone forever from us. This is Manjunath Rao, Karnataka, and Maharashtra. All those 26 who died after this attack, 17 were below 45. So 17 young lives would have lost during this attack of terrorists. So now I will request all our participants to kindly stand for 2 minutes and observe silence to pay homage to the departed soul. All the members kindly stand for 2 minutes silence. Let's observe and pay homage to the departed soul. All the members, please. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti. Let's start with the topic now. All the members, please.
I would request before you start, I would request everyone to mute themselves first. है ना?
Yes, yes, that's very
बिल्कुल
important.
सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है और इतना important topic है, serious issue है. So please mute yourself. Sonal Gupta.
Shall I start, Jyotika?
Yes, you can start.
Okay. Now, coming to today's topic, the topic is impact of terrorism on women and children. We are all aware about that, how women are affected, how girls are affected, how children are affected. We are all shocked by the news of such terrorism where innocent people became victims of no fault of theirs. What was their fault? They wanted to enjoy the beauty of Kashmir. They wanted to enjoy the peace and the silence of Kashmir. They wanted to be the part of that beauty. That was their fault, and that's why they came to Kashmir. And as government has announced a financial compensation, it's a good gesture, but no amount of financial compensation can bring the lost lives back that all of us we realize. Of course, जब जिंदगी जीनी है तो पैसे की भी जरूरत है, but जो जिंदगी में कमी हो जाती है, that cannot be fulfilled with the financial help given by the government or by the relatives. But there is another, but yes, we talk about those victims, those who are killed, those who become the victims of terrorism. But there is other dimension also to this tragic incident, to this terrorism, which normally we don't talk about. We have to talk about those also who carry the burden of such tragedies throughout their lives. Who are those people? Terrorism impacts profoundly the women and children, as we have started. They are affected physically also, emotionally also, and mentally also. Physically, there are deaths, there are injuries, there are sexual assault, and over and above that, there is a psychological trauma. As Binaji has also said, that throughout their life, they live under the fear of death. Because those who have seen the family members being attacked, those who have seen the terrorists attacking those people, they can hardly forget that sight from their consciousness. Throughout their lives, whenever they close their eyes, they will always see that scene, how their families were shot by those terrorists. So that is a psychological trauma. Then the displacement from the place, disruptions in their lives, and when they have to face problems of life without any support. These are those people, not the victims, but those who have to face all these things where there is no help, there is no support, there is a disruption, and there is a displacement in their lives also. Who are those people we are talking about? Women, girls, and children are specifically impacted since they are more vulnerable. All of us, we are aware of that. A calamity, any calamity, whether it's natural or it's man-made. कोई साइक्लोन आ जाता है और कुछ कोई अर्थक्वेक आ जाता है, कोई अटैक हो जाता है, anything man-made or natural, women and young girls, they are the one who are
Kuljit,
mostly.
I think you please stop screen sharing so that you can be pinned. You stop screen sharing. Now
Okay.
that's over. Yeah.
Okay, so where the natural man-made directly affects women and young girls, psychological trauma, fear, sleeplessness, behavior change, insecurity, social blame. Blame also. For example, now I shouldn't be saying, the men who have become the victim of this terrorism, their families will also be accused. Some people will say, ये तो पता नहीं हमारे घर में कैसी आई, इसने मेरे बेटे को ले लिया. That type of accusation and social blame, that will create mental health problem for those girls also. Now, India's permanent representative to UN, Jyotika Kalra, has commented this, which is very important. What comment she has given, what statement she has given. Terrorism continues to be the biggest violation of human rights and a persistent threat to global peace and security. Women and girls suffer invariably and disproportionately. This deserves strongest condemnation and calls for adoption of zero violence approach to all forms of terrorism. That's what Ruchira Compose has said in the UN as permanent representative for India. We often talk of direct impact of terrorism, but hardly pay attention to counterterrorism. So that is another dimension. Terrorism is the directly impact, but there is a counterterrorism also. So I'll give you an example for that. The ground reality is that terrorists leave their families behind,
Kuljit
join
ji,
the.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Please stop screen sharing. आपकी स्क्रीन पे वही चल रहा है अभी भी.
क्या चल रहा है?
वो जब लास्ट आपका पेज चल रहा था ना, स्क्रीन शेयरिंग को स्टॉप कर दीजिए.
ओहो,
So
अच्छा
that we
अच्छा
can
अच्छा.
pin you.
Okay, okay,
You
okay.
stop screen sharing.
You can end the PPT. Yeah.
If I end the PPT, I have
No, it's okay.
jotted down.
Now
That's fine.
Now, I'll tell you what do we mean by counterterrorism. First point was when the men, they abandon their families, they join the terrorist group. What is the plight of those women and young girls and children and the family left behind? Now, in this Pahalgam case itself, I tell you, Pakistani women married to Indian men have been asked to leave. To all of us, as women have been deported. Please mute yourself. Please.
Shampada, please mute. Yeah, you can start.
Jyotika, you can also
Yes.
mute. You are a co-host also.
I'm not able to. I've tried.
I have been muting so that we can continue.
I'm trying, but I'm.
So we have seen in the recent cases also, we are reading in the newspapers also, on the news also, that Pakistani women married to Indian men have been asked to leave. And same is the condition of Indian women married to Pakistani men. Those who are living comfortable life with the families in Pakistan, or those who are leading comfortable life in India with their Indian husbands, they have been deported back to their respective countries. Now that is the impact of on the family life of those women without any reason, without any fault of theirs. For example, Sumaira, who married an Indian in 2017, has been abruptly deported to Pakistan with a 2-year-old son. She has no kin or family to support her there. Now we have read that how her husband वो गाड़ी में लेके सुमेरा को जब लेके गई है पुलिस उसके पीछे पीछे along with the 2-year-old son, he was taking to Atari border to the child. Now that woman has gone to Pakistan, but she says she has got nobody in Pakistan where she can go and stay immediately. So imagine the plight of that child also, that man also, and that woman also, who has been deported back to Pakistan because she is not an Indian citizen. And in India, they have made a rule, those who are having permanent citizenship, maybe they are from Pakistan, they can stay back. But those who are having temporary citizenship, they cannot stay in India. But normally what happens when you are married for the last 7, 8 years, you don't pay heed to such rules and you think that everything is normal and I am leading my normal life. But this is what has happened. That is the counter impact of terrorism. Women who came to settle in India for 30 years and have been part of Indian society are now being asked to leave the country. Those who don't have the permanent visa, they have been asked to leave the country and go back to Pakistan. Same is happening in Pakistan also. The protocol officer at the Atari border means at Amritsar, where we exchange the prisoners or the citizens. At Atari border, the protocol officer has confirmed that 537 Pakistani nationals have left India. I have given you example of Sumaira, but there are other 536 such women, those who are married to Indian nationals and they have been deported back to Pakistan. And 815 Indian nationals who were staying in Pakistan and were married to a Pakistani have been deported back to India. Now imagine the plight of those 537 and 850 women, those who are in no way concerned about the terrorist action at Pahalgam. This is how indirectly the women and the families are affected when such disruptions take place of terrorism or any other calamity. Now, what is the plight of such women? What do they do? What options do they have? And what is their fault? But no fault of theirs, they have to bear the brunt. Such situation of desperation have in the past forced women to join terrorist groups either actively or offering passive support. What happens? Because they want to live now. They want to lead their life. They want to take care of their children. So one of the options left with them is that they join terrorist groups. This thing is not in India, it is not that common, but in the countries like Sri Lanka, Colombia, Algeria, these things are very common that the women, they join terrorist groups and then they help them in bringing the goods also and of course for physical satisfaction. And all of us, we know who killed Rajiv. He was a young girl terrorist from Sri Lanka. All of us are aware of that. So it is no lie that the women, when they are desperate, when they are put to walls, they join these terrorist groups also. And this is the plight of the women. What is the plight of the young girls? They face the higher risk of sexual and gender-based violence because nobody to protect them, nobody to support them, and they are not prepared how to defend themselves from the attacks of such young terrorists who are always after the young girls to have their physical and sexual satisfaction. Women who are pushed to vulnerability are used by terrorist groups to provide material support and help in fundraising. So what is the job of those terrorist women? They become terrorists also, but at the same time, satisfy their physical need also. They help in fundraising also, in collecting funds also, and they give them material support also. They look after those terrorists as cooks also, as washerwomen also, as caretakers also. Women are forced into terrorism for physical exploitation by terrorists. Now, what is the impact on children? बच्चों का क्या होता है? This is a very serious matter. Every day we are aware of it. We read in the newspapers, but we don't connect from where these children have come. Children are the most severely affected victims of terrorist attacks. Thousands of children are abducted, and recruited as terrorists. रोज दिन जो terrorists के इतने groups आते हैं, from where those young boys are coming. Those young boys, those children, those who are affected by the terrorist attacks, those children, those young boys, they are abducted by the terrorists and they are trained as terrorists. जब हमने recently कश्मीर में हमने क्या देखा, इतने पत्थर फेंके जा रहे हैं. Who is throwing those stones? That is also the mental trauma. They're trained like that. They're trained by terrorists. ये सब disable कर दो. सारा जो system है उसको disturb कर दो. This is how the children are being used by the terrorists. They're subjected to multiple forms of physical and psychological violence. We know what type of this physical violence also with the young boys and how it psychologically impacts the mind of those children. Those are being misused by the terrorists. It is inhuman and degrading and makes them hardcore criminals. Every day when they see they're given the training, AK-47 की training उनको मिल रही है, उनको brain wash कर रहे हैं against the Indians or against the people against whom they are fighting. So they become hardcore criminals. दिल पत्थर हो जाता है. जो इंसानियत है, humanity is खत्म. There is no love, there is no empathy, there is no sympathy. They become hardcore criminals. They are trained like that and they ultimately become like that. Otherwise, अगर थोड़ा सा भी दिल होए, तो जब दो बच्चे खड़े हैं, how can you kill their parents? When the young wife is standing, who is just last week got married, how can you finish a husband? How can you finish a man जो 3 महीने पहले जिसकी शादी हुई है and he has come for honeymoon? This means they are hardcore criminals. They don't have hearts. They don't have any love. They don't have any compassion. They don't have any sympathy. So that's why they behave like that. But they are trained like that. Those children abducted, those who are the victims of terrorism, they are abducted and they are trained like that. And the most important thing is every day we read in the newspapers also कि पाकिस्तान से drugs India में कैसे आती हैं. At the border area, so many times the young children are caught. They use young children क्योंकि पाकिस्तान और इंडिया बॉर्डर में हमने वहां पर meshes लगाए. And the young boys, they are able to enter those meshes and from Pakistan, they can enter India without the notice of anyone. This is how the children are being used. Drugs जो पाकिस्तान से इंडिया में आती है, those drugs also come. They are the carrier of those drugs, those young children. They bring the weapons also for the terrorists and they bring the drugs also from Pakistan to India. And now, the most important thing is how the patriarchy is amplified. In normal times also, we say that there is a rise in crime against women. There is so much of sexual assault, sexual harassment, rape, domestic violence. Every day the crime is increasing. But जब terrorist का attack होता है, when emergency is there, during that time, police and armies, they get a free hand. They get a free hand to knock anybody's door at any time of the day or any time of the night. There is no check of them. In the guise of investigating, in the guise of catching the terrorism, not that we are criticizing, but indirectly how the women are also being harassed because of this freedom given to the army officers, to the police, and every act of harassment, even violence, is accepted as part of the game of investigation. वो जो भी फिर करते हैं, पुलिस वाले जो भी करते हैं, आर्मी वाले जो करते हैं, even in the middle of the night, if they come and knock at the door, the lady of the house has to open the door and वो सारे घर में खोज करेंगे, investigate करेंगे, and they will always say that we are under this impression कि terrorist भाग के आपके घर में आए हैं और आपने उन terrorist को अपने घर में security दी है. That's why they have got the right, they have got the freedom to go into any house, to knock any door. And what happens? The women of the house, the innocent women, those who are not any way involved in that, those who are not playing any part in defending the terrorists, they also become the victim of harassment and they also become the victim of sexual assault because they don't know at this stage whom to complain. Because army and police, they are themselves involved in all. These are the ground realities I'm talking about. I'm not criticizing any government, Indian government, Pakistan government, English government, American government. This is what is happening everywhere. Every act of harassment, even violence, is accepted as part of the game of investigation. There is very little fear or control of law. There is no fear, no control of law, because they are supposed to do their duty by investigating whether the terrorist is hiding in this house or whatever it is. Patriarchy is played out without any legal restriction. Normal, what happens normally, अगर कोई rape है, कोई domestic violence है, harassment है, there is law to control them. You can go and report the matter to the police. But during this time, when you are trying to catch the terrorists, when the emergency has been declared, when everywhere the fear of the terrorists is there, when the police and army are all set to catch those terrorists, no rule of law is being followed. So that's why patriarchy is also at its height. They can do anything with the women and the young girls. There is nobody to listen to. This is complete breakdown of law and order. To a certain extent, I don't want to give the example of Manipur, but this is what is happening in Manipur. So you don't know where to complain and who is going to listen to you. This is what happens when there is no rule of law, when the army is left loose, when the police is left loose. They can handle the families, the young girls and the women the way they like you. And that's how the women are largely affected by these types of violence, harassment, calamities, natural or man-made. The international, so let's come to international scene also. Every day we are reading in the newspaper. I'm not talking about Ukraine, about the war. I'm talking about terrorism. Whether Hamas or Syria or Israel, the situation is the same. Schools are closed. What will happen to the children? What the children will do? Either they will be abducted and they'll become terrorists, or वो stone करने के लिए, पत्थर मारने के लिए आ जाएंगे, because they want some action, they want some activity in life. Schools are closed, infrastructures are bombed. You must have seen in the TV 5 and 6 story building, how they are falling down, how these buildings are collapsing. But who is staying inside those buildings? Those women and children. They are being killed. They are being finished. So infrastructure bombed. And the worst part is that the hospital meant for children, that has also been destroyed in Gaza. So this is the extreme limit the terrorists can go, without any sympathy, without any compassion, without any love, without any empathy. But who are the sufferers? The silent sufferers are the women, children, and the young girls. Impact on women is suffering and bearing the brunt of terrorism. Building collapsing all around, families on the road, normal life destroyed. जब इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर खत्म है, schools closed हैं, building गिर रही हैं, then where the families will go? Families will be on the road. When the family is on the road, when the young girls are on the road, when the women are on the road, they are most vulnerable at that time. So women, girls, and children, they are the most affected whenever there's a calamity. Women and children are left alone to fend for themselves. The men, they leave the house, they abandon the family. The government doesn't bother about that. There is no home, there is no school, there are no hospitals where the children can go. So children and women are left to themselves to fend for themselves. Those who are victims of terrorism, उनको तो government compensation दे देगी, NGOs help करेंगे, society will help, relatives will help. But those who are the victims of counter-terrorism, there is no sympathy for them, there is no help for them. अगर आपको ये बोलो ये जो लेडी है इसका हस्बैंड टेररिस्ट है, बट शी इज सिटिंग ऑन द रोड, शी इज लेफ्ट अलोन, हम बोलेंगे ठीक है टेररिस्ट की वाइफ है, भुगते. वी ऑलवेज थिंक लाइक दैट, ये भुगते, इसका हस्बैंड टेररिस्ट है, इसका हस्बैंड लोगों को मार रहा है, और उस औरत का क्या कसूर है? इज शी रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर दैट? नेवर गिव अ थॉट टू दैट थिंग. वी ऑलवेज से ओ इसका हस्बैंड ऐसा है, चोर हस्बैंड है तो वाइफ को भुगतना पड़ेगा, मर्डरर है वाइफ हैज टू फेस इट, इफ मैन इज बैड द वुमन हैज टू फेस इट. वी ऑलवेज talk like that. But what is the fault of that woman whose husband has become terrorist, has abandoned the family, her house has been demolished, there are no schools for the children, and she's just sitting on the road? Who is going to help her? Nobody is going to help. No financial support by the government. Nobody is going to give them counseling sessions also. Their economic condition is disrupted in the way. Sometimes women, they are making candles, they're making diyas, they're doing stitching, they're doing some other work through which they can earn little bit money. But now when there is no house, when there are no facilities, she is deprived of that economic, of that financial income also, because she is just living and sitting on the road. Such victims are not treated like human beings or citizens. We don't call them citizens of the country. We don't treat them like human beings. As I said, नफरत से हम भर जाते हैं. This is very natural. ये terrorist की wife है. Don't try to help. So नफरत से भरते हैं. They are not considered as human beings. That touch हमारे में भी खत्म हो जाता है. That she is a human being after all, and she needs a help. नहीं, हमारे दिल में उसके लिए sympathy खत्म हो जाती है. We don't have any love, any consideration. So in fact, there is a complete violation of human rights and dignity. No human rights are given to them. They are not entitled.
Can you shorten it? Because
2 minutes only, 2 minutes only.
Yeah.
The UN has also taken cognizance of the impact of counter-terrorism. Even UN has taken the cognizance that counter-terrorism impacts the lives of women and children and young girls. It has defined policy direction to place limits on counter-terrorism. Now, coming to what is the role of AIWC, what is the purpose for having this webinar, how AIWC can have sympathetic attitude towards these women, towards the victims, those who are the victims of counter-terrorism. AIWC, I think we should come forward, adopt victims of terrorism, arrange for their counseling session, organize awareness program for the young girls or the young children so that they don't get into the hands of terrorists. We should try to help those women. We should approach the government also that how directly or indirectly they should make short-stay homes where such women can be given shelter and they can protect themselves from the hands of terrorism, from the physical assault, from the sexual assault, and they can lead to a certain extent a life of respect and dignity, and they can safeguard themselves against the exploitation. Thank you so much for listening to me so patiently. It's a very serious and very dark topic, but I just touched the important points so that I could convey my feelings. It's the feelings of everyone. All of us, we are working for women. We have got sympathy, empathy, and understanding of women's problems. And I think we should come together, come forward, and try to help the victims of terrorism or the victims of counter-terrorism. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Very well said. Thank you, Kuljit ji. So rightly said. Amazing. You brought it out succinctly. What are the long-term impact, short-term impact, what AIWC, what social organizations, civil society should do. Thank you so much. Now our next speaker is Mrs. Jyotika Kalra. She doesn't need any introduction. I would request Jyotika ji to kindly give her presentation.
Thank you, Jyotika. And first of all, मुझे ये लग रहा है कि ऑल इंडिया वुमेन कॉन्फ्रेंस या हमारा उज्जवल वुमेन एसोसिएशन एक ऐसे गंभीर विषय पर हम बात करने के लिए इकट्ठा हुए. मुबारकबाद देना शब्द ठीक नहीं होता, बट मुझे लगता है कि इट्स समथिंग विच मस्ट बी कॉम्प्लीमेंटेड फॉर. एंड द प्रेसिडेंट उज्जवल वुमेन एसोसिएशन एंड द चेयरपर्सन उज्जवल वुमेन एसोसिएशन, Mrs. Beena Jain and Jyotika, both of you deserve a credit for that. Because we must express, we must have ideas, we must know as to what is happening around. हम सिर्फ जो आसपास हो रहा होता है उसको ब्लाइंडली फॉलो करते हैं. उसके अलावा आज उज्जवल वुमेन एसोसिएशन के प्लेटफॉर्म से इस सीरियस विषय पर हमने बातचीत करने के लिए अपना वक्त निकाला और आप सब इसमें शामिल हुए. तो मुझे पहले तो लग रहा था, इफ आई एम ओके विद मिक्स्ड लैंग्वेज इंग्लिश एंड हिंदी, आई थिंक कि व्हाट द सब्जेक्ट टेररिज्म इज. तो अगर आप टेररिज्म शब्द को समझना चाहें, इट इज यूज ऑफ वायलेंस और थ्रेट ऑफ यूज ऑफ वायलेंस to create a climate of fear and achieve political or ideological goals. So by creating a climate of fear, the purpose is to achieve a political or an ideological goal. If we remember that just before 2 days of this tragic incident of 22nd April in the Besaran Valley of Pahalgam, the army chief of Pakistan, Mr. Asim Munib, he had said before the international people who had assembled there that we can't leave our Kashmir brothers. He had very categorically mentioned about that just 2 days before this terror attack. So, as I said, terrorism is a political agenda to meet a political agenda. And not only that, the government of India, it raised objections to the BBC telecast when they claimed, when they named these people as militants. So it is practically and clearly an act of terrorism because there is a political agenda to be met. And that political agenda is nothing else but to meet the Pakistani agenda of creating fear in the mind of people. Going further, this act of terrorism is state-sponsored. It is sponsored by the state. And our government of India had taken it very seriously by first and foremost by keeping the Sindhu water treaty in abeyance because the water from India is going to Pakistan. So that treaty has been kept in abeyance and future course of action would be decided. And importantly, which was reported in Indian Express today, India is trying diplomatically to bring back Pakistan into the grey list of the Financial Action Task Force, that is FATE, Financial Action Task Force. So when in Pakistan would be brought back to the grey area of Financial Action Task Force, the global money laundering and the terror financing watchdog. So this FAT is a global watchdog which keeps a watch on the money laundering and terror funding. And Pakistan was put in this list, in the grey list in June 2018. And the monitoring of Pakistan was increased during that time, and it has been removed from that grey list in October 2022. When a country is in that list, the grey list of FATE, the international contribution or foreign direct investment, all that stops because that the country being in that list, the funding of that country stops because the whosoever is investing or proposing to invest in that country gets a setback and is compelled to rethink whether the money should be invested in that country, which is using the finance for the terror funding. And then the government of India is also proposing to raise objection to the International Monetary Fund, that is IMF, which is supporting Pakistan by $7 billion support package to the Pakistan, which was commenced in July 2024, because it is the government of India stand that this money which is being funded by IMF to support Pakistan is getting diverted by the Pakistan for the nefarious activities and terror attacks. As Kuljit ji has also given the details of the victims of the terror attack, there were like 26 persons and they were from 15 different states. When I was reading the names and the states to which they belong, and she also mentioned about 26 persons from 15 different states. It reminded me of how the unity of India, which is also there in this in the message that AIWC believes in unity and peace. So the unity was reflected like 26 persons who have been killed. They belong to 15 different states of India, one from Nepal. So 14 different states from India. And then the purpose of the terrorists could also have been to spoil the integration of Kashmir into India. That we have seen in 1919 when Article 370 was abolished. Kashmir has seen a remarkable improvement thereafter, and we just had the elections, the assembly election as well as the Lok Sabha election in Kashmir, and the Kashmiris participate in a large number, and they have an elected government, which per se shows that Kashmir is very Kashmiris are very are at ease to come together with India. And even after this incident, the Kashmiris had come on the roads to support, to criticize this act of terrorism. So the aim of enemy country, or the aim of the country which is on fight with India on the issue of Kashmir, was also to create a disturbance, uh, uh, to create a disturbance in India, like so that the purpose gets served if the Indians start blaming Kashmiris for that, because we also saw some incidents where the Kashmiris were blamed for that issue. I mean, the Kashmiri students had raised voice. So I think the girls and the boys, children who are studying in schools and colleges. So I also feel that if these kinds of activities go on, then the purpose or the intention behind the terrorists, that only will be served. We as Indians believe in the unity and believe in this strong India, where each one feels integrated, each one feels proud Indian. So that kind of an activity should not have taken place. The Kashmiri students who come to different universities of different parts of the countries, purpose is the universities also give some special favors to those students. The purpose is to integrate them, to mainstream those Kashmiris in India. I have an occasion to visit Kashmir many a times. So I feel that integration is the most important thing. When we visit Kashmir, we must start developing a bondage with the Kashmiris, be it in the form of students, be it form of professional relationships. So that's a must for this country to ensure that the Kashmiris are integrated. We as a nation feel proud of our nation, and we take along the Kashmir and the Kashmiris too. And this act of terrorism has disturbed all of us. We feel sad. We feel also sad because the brutality with which this act of terrorism was carried out. I mean, it was also their intention. It had not happened just on the side, like asking the religion and removing the clothes to ensure as to which religion the people belong, to which religion the male belongs, shows that they categorically and they intentionally did all this to create a divide between the Hindus and the Muslims. And we in our country, when we say that we believe in unity and peace, so we all together, this was done by terrorists. But if this act of terrorism, which was brutal, which is inhuman, which disturbs the conscience of any and every right thinking people, uh, should be only taken as a tactic by the terrorists to make it that this is anti-Hindu stance, but it is primarily a stand against the nation. It is a stand against the security, safety, and integrity as well as sovereignty of this nation. We all stand together. We pay humble homage to those he killed, but we are there with our government. We are there with our defense ministry. We are there with this entire nation. Hand in hand, we assure and we want to communicate this message that anyway, whatever action, whatever help the government needs from us, we as a women organization, women working in the field, in social fields, so any help or any contribution the women from our side can give to the government, can as a support to control terrorism, to ensure that these kinds of actions do not happen again, because the Kashmir, the terrorism in India is focused in that area of Kashmir. So we must all, as a citizen, as a responsible citizen, also think of it that how can we individually contribute to stopping this kind of terrorism. And I was listening to a person on the TV. He said that it is important, even for controlling this terrorism, it is important that we build a relationship with the Kashmiris, because all that intelligence, there are two two things, the army which uses force to combat, but there is another factor which is called intelligence. Intelligence is that the government or the agencies come to know beforehand as to what is going to happen, because they have their own persons who talk with the locals, who talk with the persons from whom the information can be gathered. So that intelligence is the part where in many cases, because of the intelligence of the armed forces, intelligence of the defense forces, governments come to know about the action which is likely to happen, and there can be a prevention to that too. So for that intelligence part also, it's important that the Kashmiris are kept in confidence, and we keep getting the information from the Kashmiris, so that the future action can be stopped. And I think the Jammu and Kashmir branch of All India Women Conference, or Kashmir branch of All India Women Conference, we can also have some personal or one-to-one communication and interaction with them to discuss this issue. And I think with this I conclude, and we can leave this. Yes, over to you, Jyotika.
Yeah, thank you, Jyotika. That was an amazing way of telling that how you brought in the political and diplomatic part also, which is very interesting and very, very relevant. In fact, if we look at the root of the whole problem, it lies there. So before we invite some question, answer, some observation, I would request our senior member, Mrs. Asha Gambhir, to give her comments on this.
I would like, Jyotika, if everybody please open your video for record purposes, we can take a screenshot.
Yeah. And meantime, Asha ji can speak on, because time is running. Yeah. Asha ji, Mrs. Asha Gambhir can please do the summing up, a brief summing up of the whole thing. Mrs. Asha Gambhir, I would like to invite you. I think she's not there now. Everyone can open their videos also. I can see some very senior members, Rehana ji, good to see you. Neeru ji, Savita Singh. I know.
There.
Yeah, Bhuvneshwar.
Karuna is there. Karuna is there from Haridwar.
Sheila Kakade is there.
And
Ashita.
Sheila ji, I saw. Where is she? Where is Sheila?
Bhuvneshwari is from Kerala. Bhuvneshwari is from Kerala.
Yeah, yeah. So you can have a screenshot. More people can open.
I had it. We can continue with the.
Okay. Yeah, Raminder ji. So I mean, so cross section of people.
Jyotika, मेरे ख्याल इतने वो जोड़ती हैं आशा, तुम इतने सबसे क्वेश्चन आंसर कर लो.
Yeah. I think she's not there. Maybe she just left.
No, I saw her. She was very much there.
वो शायद जोड़ नहीं पा रही हैं. But yeah, meantime we can have some observations, because so many senior. Vinay Kapoor ji, you are here. Welcome, ma'am. Vinay Kapoor Mehra, you've been coming to our programs.
Rekha is there. Rekha Sali from Bombay. Devyani ji there.
Oh, so many. Let's have some very good observations or comments, please. Who wants to say first? Any questions, any comments? Because actually it's become a very, very repeatedly happening, phenomena. And this time it was really bad. This was quite, sense shattering sort of phenomena. Yeah, Asha ji, I can see you. Asha ji, you have to unmute yourself. Yeah. Shall I try? Can you? I think you're trying to.
Okay. Now, can you hear me now?
Perfect. Yeah. Please.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay, fine. Okay. I am sorry, there is something happening either with my system or whatever, but I could not hear the last portion of Kuljit's talk. I was there in the beginning, but I could not hear. Anyway, thank you, Jyotika. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Asha.
Please go ahead.
Okay.
I can hear you.
I must congratulate Jyotika very current topic and a very relevant topic, because all the horrors are so fresh in everybody's mind. And as rightly our members pointed out, especially the newlywed, I think that was the most horrific thing that could have happened. To coming to the point that Binaji raised, that women and child, that is the topic, that women and children get affected. But also get affected the children who have seen such violence, and it leaves such a bad impact and negative impact on their minds that they can be affected for the rest of their life in shaping of their personalities, which is not a very healthy attitude. Kuljit, so we are talking about the violence that the women and children face. So Kuljit very rightly pointed out and very sensitive to the losses that happen and to the families who have lost their loved ones. She showed a picture, and that was a very nice gesture. Also she emphasized on how the patriarchy amplified. Now it is very sad, but since time immemorial, every time we have seen that any time there is violence or there is a terror strike or there is anything, the police and the army have a free hand, as she very rightly said, to do whatever they like. And because the government feels responsible and have to show results, so they give them a free hand. I'm not criticizing anybody. I suppose that is the way the system works. So no criticism on anybody at all. But yes, that is an observation. And we know that for sure. We heard later on we hear so many stories of how women were raped. Rape though becomes a common feature. Every woman, every young girl gets raped, and also child trafficking happens during that time. Now, not only, as I said, not only the victims' families, but it also has a ripple effect. Because in its eagerness to show results and to prove to the country that they are doing their best, and the victims have to be, and the criminals have to be brought to book immediately, they will take any steps, like Kuljit focused on the families, on the 800 families of Pakistan, the 500 families of India who were deported. Now that's a sad story indeed, because they are even the people who have lost their lives, they lost their lives for no reason of their own. Now nobody knows why, but Yutika very rightly said that terrorism is a political angle. And Yutika focused on the treaties and the agreements that the two countries have between Pakistan and India, and also how they are approaching the international community for support. But unfortunately, so far, I don't see any much international support except for the spontaneous reaction when everybody said, yes, yes, it is condemned. But this has been going on for ages and ages. We've been seeing it happening since the Indo-Pakistan war. It's been happening. So, but nothing concrete has emerged. Time lapses, a treaty is signed, agreements are come upon, then it seems as though it's all going to be very honky-dory, but it is not so. Again, somebody, a fanatic, somebody somewhere triggers off a whole series of events where the entire community, the entire country gets totally disturbed. I might, hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
I myself wonder what is the solution for this? Because this has been happening since the time we were born, since the civilization took place. So it's only a power struggle. The Kings fight with each other. Kingdoms fight with each other for power, for land, for wealth, or for whatever. And who are the sufferers? It is the women and the children. Why are we so vulnerable? Why are the women and children so vulnerable? And why are we so dependent on the men for sustainability? Because that is the way of the society. So, what are we supposed to do? We have to find a way. We have to put our heads together. We have to find a way. I don't know whether it's possible, but we have to find a way by which we can resolve this problem. And in such dire cases, the women do not feel, they will feel, of course, the loss is felt, but we need to support them to get over this, and this is not the end of the day. Today in the newspaper, it said that in Karnal, somebody, an NGO in Karnal, held a blood donation camp. And it was probably to boost the girls' morale. The wife and the sister were invited and they were involved. So now what is the message coming? The message coming is that you have to look beyond. You have to look ahead. You can't be bogged down by this. You have to look ahead. But I will end by saying that I am very grieved and extremely disturbed by what is happening and what has been happening all along. Terrorist attacks have been taking place. What happens in Ukraine? What happens in Gaza? We see women and civilian students, for no fault of theirs. The students have lost their career, the money that is gone, the time, the energy, everything that is gone. It is very heartrending. So if a miracle works for us, then I think AIWC should put our heads together and our energy together and see how we can resolve this. Thank you so much, Jyotika.
Thank you, Ashaji. That was so well summed up. Now I think I will open the forum for some observations or comments. Anybody has? Anybody like to say something on this topic? Sheila ji? Mrs. Sheila Kakade is the ex-president of AIWC. Oh, we have so many ex-presidents here. Yeah, Sheila ji, you want to say something? You have to unmute yourself.
प्रोमिला यू हैव टू अनम्यूट. आप बोल रही हैं पर आपकी आवाज अनम्यूट कीजिए अपने आप को. प्रोमिला
नहीं कर पा रही. शीला जी भी बोल रही हैं. शीला जी wants to. Are they not able to unmute themselves? Now I think you can unmute yourself, Sheila ji. Please try again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What to say? We all are suffering with these terrorist attacks. Bombay also suffered few years ago, if all must be remembering. And now here again, Ujjawal Women's Association has definitely taken up a very good initiative to bring all of us together, put our thoughts here. And Kuljit ji and Jyotika Kalra ji, they have definitely given us broader spectrum to think about what can be done at AIWC level. Congratulations, Ujjawal Women's Association. And now I feel AIWC general members, they also should come together and do some activities in their own areas. And we should come together to, give some solid solution, which is very difficult, but कुछ ना कुछ निकल आएगा. और हमने ये विक्टिम्स को मदद के लिए भी करना चाहिए और गवर्नमेंट जो कर रही है उसको भी सपोर्ट करना चाहिए. I feel we should do that. Until all that comes in and everything is settled, we can at least, all of us joined here, can give positive vibrations for peace and harmony all over the country, especially in the Pahalgam area and those who are affected. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila ji. Very well said.
Vijay Lakshmi, Jyotika, Vijay Lakshmi, you have joined. Would you like to say something?
She's not able to open. Meanwhile, Pramila ji, you want to say something? I'll unmute.
Yes, I definitely want to say something.
one
First of all,
minute. Yeah, very
thank you. Thanks, Bina ji, for taking this initiative. Thanks, Jyotika ji. Kuljit ma'am is very senior. And I'm new to the organization, not very old, I mean to say. And, like a few speakers before me, the people who have put questions, we really need to sit down. We really need to put our heads together. अगर हमें लग रहा है कि हमें कोई solution ढूंढना है, because it's very good, it's very relevant that we talk about it, because that is what we are doing. We are watching, we are eating, drinking, sleeping this Pahalgam. So we know, we are neck deep into it. लेकिन होता क्या है, we move on. Last year इस समय हम लोग क्या कर रहे थे? We were all of us were into RJ Kaur after July, 8th August के बाद हमने अक्टूबर तक आरजे कौर किया. उसके बाद क्या हुआ? वी डोंट इवन नो व्हाट इज द फेट ऑफ दैट केस. उस लड़की का, उसके पेरेंट्स का, उसकी फैमिली का क्या हुआ? नथिंग. सिमिलरली बॉम्बे में पीपल, ठीक है, दे लंगड़ाते उठते बैठते संभल गए. यही इन फैमिलीज के साथ भी होगा. हमको कश्मीरीज के साथ किस तरह का डायलॉग करना है? मुझे वाकई में आई नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड. क्योंकि हमने जो 90s में एक्सोडस हुआ उनके लिए तो आई डोंट थिंक कि हमने कभी कुछ सिंपथाइज किया भी. हाफ ऑफ अस डिडंट इवन नो. आई हैपन टू नो बिकॉज मेरे साथ जो मेरे स्टूडेंट थे फेलो, दे वर फ्रॉम कश्मीर एंड आई सॉ देम सफर, कि हाउ दे वर ब्रॉट ऑन टू द फुटपाथ. कैसे वो लोग रातों रात, जो लोग एयरलाइंस में ट्रेवल करते थे उन दिनों, विच वॉज अ लग्जरी इन द 80s, वो कैसे रातों रात आईएनए की फुटपाथ पे उनको एक शॉप मिला था. आज वो सब कहाँ है? वी डोंट इवन नो. तो हमको किसको एंगेज करना है? कश्मीरीज को अगर हम एंगेज करेंगे तो किन को करना है? ये तो 90s से चल रहा है. हम 25 में आ गए. 35 ईयर से हम एंगेज कर रहे हैं. एंड माइंड यू, जिस आर्मी मैन की पोस्टिंग होती है, मेरा तो ब्रदर है कजन, दे आर नॉट इवन श्योर दैट दे विल कम बैक वहां से अलाइव. ही वॉज हेयर डे बिफोर यस्टरडे एंड ही वॉज सेइंग कि वी यूज्ड टू बी अब्यूज्ड, कि इंडिया से आए हो यहाँ पे, पत्थर मारते थे, उसका गाड़ी को आग लगा दिया 2 बार, उसको SOS कॉल करना पड़ा अपनी यूनिट को, तब वो बचा है. सो बहुत सारे एंगल हैं. किस कश्मीरी को हमको एंगेज करना है? रियली वांट टू नो. एंड आई रियली डोंट वांट टू साउंड कि आई एम अ नोविस और मैं कुछ बोल रही हूँ. आई वांट टू थैंक एवरीबडी, बट हमको सोल्यूशन ओरिएंटेड अप्रोच रखना पड़ेगा. अगर हमसे कुछ होता है इसमें तो वी शुड रियली मूव अहेड. नहीं तो फिर ऑब्ituaries और ये तो हम करते रहते हैं. लास्ट ईयर आपको तो पता ही है, हम तो गए थे ना उधर जब ये सब हो रहा था बांग्लादेश में. अभी तो हमारा क्या हाल, अभी हमारे कंट्री में मुर्शिदाबाद में क्या हो रहा है? वी आर साइलेंट. बांग्लादेश में हमसे इतना नहीं हुआ कि हम हाई कमिश्नर को जाके कागज पकड़ा के आ जाए कि व्हाट आर यू डूइंग. ये तक नहीं हुआ हमसे.
True.
And I am condemning the Bengali community. If there is any Bengali here, I will face. I condemned all the people staying in Siapak. कि you are going ahead with normal routine. आपको ये नहीं हो रहा कि एक कागज पकड़ करके आप कैंडल मार्च निकाल लो, एक प्लेकार्ड पकड़ लो. क्यों हम इतने डिफेंसिव है? क्यों? कौन सा अपराध कर दिया हमने? हम मुर्शिदाबाद में नहीं बोलते, हम मालदा में नहीं बोलते, हम बांग्लादेश में नहीं बोलते. अपनी कंट्री से हमको क्लेंस आउट कर रहे हैं, यहाँ से वहां से हर जगह से. आई डोंट नो. आई एम अग्रीव्ड.
Very well said, Pramila.
आई एम अग्रीव्ड पर्सन. मुझे नहीं समझ में आ रहा है कि हमको किसको एड्रेस करना है, किसको एंगेज करना है डायलॉग में. अब हमें तो, मुझे तो लग रहा है हम ही को सुनने की जरूरत है.
Pramila जी, आपके सारे क्वेश्चन से फाइन करने के लिए भी आई है. थैंक यू सो मच.
Yes, हमको तो उन women से बात करनी चाहिए जी who have lost their parents, children, their husbands.
More comments. So
yes,
let's
please.
yeah. Thank you so much. That was very important. Yeah. Anyone? I think we can have one last. Okay.
Bhuvneshwari,
Beena ji wants to say something first.
किसी से पहले पूछ लो ना, जो सब लोग हैं.
Savita wants to say. Savita is there. Savita has raised her hand.
Bhuvneshwari. Yeah.
Savita
Okay.
Singh. Savita Bhuvneshwari.
सविता जी आप बोले. हाँ, अनम्यूट कर लें अपने को.
Thank you very much for organizing this talk. Of course, it's very difficult to say anything. Can I continue?
Yes, Savita.
Yes. So, just to add on something on what you said and Kuljit ma'am said and Pramila ji said. When we are talking about counter-terrorism and the affected people from the counter-terrorism, of course, there will be those children who have seen their parents to be shot. The children who were there in Pahalgam, the children in Gaza, the children on 7th October when Israelis were bombed. I really don't understand that when we talk, we are not taking the victims in a complete under a complete umbrella. Maybe we are so overwhelmed that we are kind of trying to segregate. I don't know on what grounds we are segregating, but we are certainly segregating those women who are suffering throughout the life, those children who suffered on 7th of October because of the Hamas bombings. But we are not addressing the cause. We are addressing only the consequences in a kind of in a binary where we segregate victimhood. Okay, so perpetrators, even a woman who is married to a terrorist, being lawyers, we understand that we will be an accomplice. I have a choice of life or death. So I know that my husband is a terrorist. I have a choice either, even if living with him is a death, continuous death for me. But I'm procreating, I am having my children, and one day if something is happening, I am playing the victim card.
Read this. Can't eat. I can't eat.
I'm playing the victim card. What about that child who I think he was just 6 or 7 years old? His father was shot dead. And why we have forgotten one major aspect, that who were those terrorists and what actually happened when the women victims have recounted their horror moments. I didn't see this coming at all. It is all over there in the media. The victims who were shot dead in seconds, they were actually they were taken down their clothes to just verify a certain faith. Are we not talking about this at all?
Savita ji, can I request you to be very brief? There are 2-3 more, and after that,
No, that's what my precise
Thank you.
purpose
Thank you
actually.
for that input. Now I'll say Bhuvneshwari ji, Vinay Kapoor ji, and Trivendram. Only 3 more questions, observations, and then we'll and Vijay Lakshmi ji, 4. Yeah. So maybe Vijay Lakshmi ji, please speak. You have been trying.
Hello, everybody. I don't think anybody knows me. I'm a sociologist and specialized on Northeast India and worked on Northeast India for nearly 40 years. So I have come from a conflict zone. And so when we talk about another conflict, yet in another place, yet in India, I can find a lot of similarities. And the major similarity I always feel is the whole, the paradigm on which this terrorism and territoriality stays. It is very, very masculine idea. The whole nationhood, the whole war scenario, how many actually there is, I think there's an author called Sylvia who actually says that it is men who make war, and the women suffer. Women and children suffer. And then they become, in Northeast, we become women and peace. We start doing peace negotiations between different warring groups and all that. It's like, the men fight, and then we say, okay, please don't fight. Let's. It's like, it's become a habit of the men, to fight and let the peace come. Let the peace be responsibility of women. Why should it be the responsibility of women? Whoever fights should respond by bringing in peace. Kashmir, what happened is it's a very terrible thing. I stayed in Kashmir also. People are wonderful in Kashmir. They are so warm and things. So, and in the history of Kashmir, it never happened that a tourist will be attacked, by the terror. It is the first time it has happened. And of course, as my previous speaker said, she pointed out very, very crucial things. as to what if I'm a wife of a terrorist? What if my child's father is a terrorist? What do we do at that point? Do we become the culprits? Do we become victim or do we become culprits? So ultimately, it is actually, peace not in the sense of no incident, but peace in the sense of justice we have to work on. And that framework has to be built in, Jyotika.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Vijayalakshmi ji. I think Bhuvneshwari ji, you want to say something?
Yeah, thank you. Actually, it's a good initiative that Ujjawal had taken and very apt at this time. So thank you, Bina ji. Thank you, Jyotika ji, Yutika ji, and Kuljit ji for giving us such a good brief. And actually, it was a very shocking incident, barbaric, I should say, and on tourists. So it is much worse than what we all feel. It's very much worse than what we ever have come across. Now, talking of AIWC involvement, these dialogues have given us some input that what we can do. As AIWC, which is what we can do, or at least we can start thinking about what we can do, because we are not sure what we can do, but we can start thinking about it. And what I thought was, of course, President Kalyani Raj had already returned to the PMO Home Ministry and all that. That was a very good thing. We felt very happy. Our branch felt very proud that we have done that. Apart from that, I was wondering that whether our Srinagar, we have a branch in Srinagar, whether they can be, head office can think of some programs, special programs for them, where they can come out with some awareness programs in schools. It need not be like they may not be able to do about a terrorism thing. They can do on drug trafficking or related value education or some such things to draw the children from those terrorist mentality. So such things, good things they can do. And I don't know whether it is feasible. They can even be encouraged to open more branches of AIWC in other places. So that way we can be, we can be of help to some other areas as well.
Thank you.
So that's what I wanted to say. I thought,
Thank you.
because we don't know actually what we can do. So, but we'll think about it.
That's a very, very constructive input and a lot of creative work instead of terrorism. Very nice, very well said. I would request now AIWC Trivandrum. That's the last question we'll have or observation.
Yeah. I'm Usha Nair here.
Oh, hello, Usha.
It is raining very heavily and there is a thunderstorm, so I won't be able to switch on my video. So I'll just be speaking. First of all, I would like to congratulate Ujjawal, especially Beena ji, Jyotika, Kuljit, all of you for selecting this platform to discuss this matter, because this brings in people from all over the country. All members have joined from different parts of the country, and this is a very significant move that you have made. So congratulations on that. And again, this incident has made it very clear that wherever we are all potential victims of terrorism. As Jyotika pointed out, the 26 victims, they hailed from 15 different states of India. There was one from Kerala as well. So you can see from Kashmir to Kerala, the terrorism has affected persons sitting in Kerala. So we can no longer be complacent about the terrorist activities going on in various parts of the country and of the world. Another point is that a terrorist, it's a terrorist. We don't have to use any adjectives. There is no country for the terrorist. There is no religion. There is no caste. If he or she is a terrorist, that is the identity, the terrorist, and we have to combat terrorism in any form. The third point I would like to make is we were all discussing what AWC can do for this. So one point that comes to my mind, which is a very practical point, is a few years back, a few friends, all from AWC, we had gone to Kashmir on a holiday. And that time things were not too good. Tourism had come down considerably and the people were all in bad state. So we were talking to the different people, shopkeepers, the boat walas and all other people. And one thing that one person told us that we want to educate our children, but we are not able to do it. So we asked why. He said the education scene in the state is very bad. Schools are not functioning properly, colleges are not functioning properly, so we are not able to educate our children. So we asked, then why don't you send them out? And what he said has stuck with me. Even after all these years, I remember he said we are scared to send them out because a few children had gone out and there were incidents of violence. And there was unfortunately an incident where a child was killed. So he says the parents are very scared to send their children out of Kashmir for getting good education. But now that has changed. Many students are coming out, many youngsters are coming out to work in different parts of India. And as one of the speakers, I think maybe it was Jyotika ji who mentioned, that they are under threat of being identified as supporters of terrorists. Because people think that he or she is a Kashmiri, so must be part of that terrorism. And so the youngsters must be living in fear. And here, most of us are mothers, grandmothers. We know how difficult it must be for the parents sitting in Kashmir to think about their children, worry about them constantly, about their safety and security. So if we can do something to find the students, Kashmiri students who are studying in our local universities, like I am in Kerala, if I can find out whether there are any Kashmiri students studying in the Kerala University or in Delhi University or in Andhra University, and we can contact them and be a sort of helping hand to them in case they want to talk to somebody, or just feel secure that somebody is there to whom I can reach out when if I have a problem. So if we can do something like that, collect the details of Kashmiri students and youth who are in our areas for work, for education, and we can reach out to them and give them some help in feeling safe, in completing their education, in working properly. That would be a great help, I think, at this point. And all other things, of course, raising awareness, teaching children about how bad terrorism and all other things will go on as usual. But this one initiative, I thought it is need of the hour, and if we can take up, that will be very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jyotika, half a minute, if you can give me half a minute.
Okay, half a minute only.
Usha, whatever you said is very precious, of course. But recently, after this Pahalgam incident also, in some of the universities, the Kashmiri students have been penalized and they had to leave the place. So we have to sensitize the common public also that if the students are studying in the colleges and the schools, they're not responsible what's happening in Kashmir. That message has to be sent. Thank you, Jyotika.
Thank you.
मैं भी जरा सा एक second, one second.
That would be the close.
I also support whatever Usha says, because हम जो थोड़ी closeness आई थी पिछले 2-3 सालों में कश्मीरीज एंड नॉर्थ या इसकी थी, तो वो closeness एकदम से जो है वो अलग हो गई. So ये उषा का कहना बहुत सही है कि हम यहाँ students come to in some universities or in schools, so our children should mix around with them. Kashmir is not a foreign or a separate part. It's a India. But somehow हमारी जो psychology में कश्मीरी children और इधर के बच्चों में आ गया है, that is bad. And ARWC का मैं ये समझती हूँ कि हर प्रोग्राम के साथ हमें ये चीज करनी चाहिए कि hatred को हटाएं, किसी भी hatred, क्योंकि hatred is the main cause of all these things.
Yeah, very well said, Beena ji. I think we are at the end of the program, and बहुत valuable comments आ रहे हैं chat box में. I wish we can save them, Jyotika. अगर वो comments बहुत ही important है, सब बोल नहीं पा रहे, time भी नहीं है, and I think now we should close the program. So I would request our Joint Secretary of Ujjawal Women's Association, Mrs. Sharda Sharma, to kindly give the vote of thanks. Everyone has taken time out, and this is really a very valuable platform, and we need to. Sharda ji, over to you.
Thank you, Jyotika ji. And dear Beena ji, Kuljit ji, Jyotika ji, Asha ji, and our fellow attendees. As we conclude this webinar on terrorism and its impact on women and children, I would like to take a moment to express our heartfelt gratitude to everyone who has made it possible. To our esteemed speakers, Kuljit ji and Jyotika ji, thank you for sharing your insightful and heartfelt thoughts, which has given food for thought to all the participants. The impact that terrorism has on women and children and its various ramifications were highlighted. Ultimately, women and children are the worst sufferers physically, emotionally, and mentally. Jyotika ji highlighted the political ramifications. She spoke about the positive effect of Article 370 and the intention behind this terrorist attack. One very positive thing which Jyotika spoke about was, developing a kind of bondage with the Kashmiris. I take it as a silver lining from her. And when we are suffering from so much of negativity, I think Beena ji also said the same thing, that it's very important for us to have that positivity and to develop some kind of a bonding with Kashmiris so that they don't feel. One can understand that. I also thank Asha ji for summing up so holistically and further enriching understanding of all of us. My special thanks to Jyotika ji also for introduction, for moderation and support. East Delhi branch of AIC and Beena ji, we appreciate your vision and your support. Beena ji, your involvement, commitment, and inspiration have always been instrumental for bringing such events to life. And you have been working relentlessly over the years to bring social fitness for women by empowering them and creating awareness about their rights and responsibilities too, which is very important. Now, to the organizing committee and our volunteers, your tireless efforts and dedication have enriched the smooth execution of this program. Finally, to all the participants, thank you so much for your active participation and engagement. And finally, we all strongly condemn the dastardly and cowardly terrorist attack on the lives of innocent tourists at Pahalgam in Jammu and Kashmir in the most dehumanizing manner, and such heinous acts challenging the unity, integrity, and sovereignty of our country. We shall continue, all of us here, we take a pledge today that we shall continue to address such relevant contemporary issues of national and international level. Importance, national and international importance. So once again, I thank you. My thanks to all of you that we could have this fruitful discussion. And thank you very much once again to all of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sharda ji. With these words, we would like to close the program. Thank you, everyone, for taking time out.